really truly predicated upon what the teaching is, and that's where the value comes in. So fellas, hey, when we're given this look, the quarterback is taught this. So no one understands this is how they're going to try to attack us. Again, when we're given this look right here, again, the quarterback is being taught this, right? And then that's how the nuances and things of that nature really work. So the value goes both ways. We can show you one thing, dictate where you're going to go the ball, or we can show you another thing, and then now try to create the confusion there. So show this look, end up here, all that. So again, that's the circular motion of it. That's how it ends up really
That's a
working.
lot of this time of year.
That's what this is about. That's where the teaching comes into play. Again, this is what the quarterback is taught, right? So like a big part of us teaching defense is truly teaching offense.
When you got the call to interview, who did you first talk with, Ryan, or how did that process kind of play out?
I've been talking to Ryan since 1997, right? So it's like, so it's a long, extensive history there. Now I love that guy. Truly look at him as a family member. So obviously, again, we're always talking. So yeah, the first call came from him. And then obviously, again, heard from Coach Peterson, heard from Doug, and look, it was a natural, easy transition for me.
At that point, was Cory also? Did you know that Cory might possibly be part of the staff as well, or did that come maybe a little bit after?
So this is personal. I'm not ever going to speak for Ryan in this case. Coach Robinson is good on any staff that I'm a part of, ever, for the history and remainder of my life as a football coach. That's how I feel about him. I trust him watching my children.
When did that start?
So 2 years ago, right? Again, we were able to form a connection there in New Orleans, and again from there, it's like when you recognize your responsibility, coming into a room, and it's either we're teaching or we're not, right? So it's either we're developing or we're not, right? And that's all you can hope for, right? Again, is to be with people of integrity who are secure in who they are as people and that are connected in the mindset of, again, being a developer, right? Because this is truly about developing people. The worst thing in the world to be around are people that are insecure. Again, insecure men are dangerous men.
What were your thoughts on Jarian and DeAndre throughout the process, and what have been your impressions since you've got them on the field and working with them?
Yeah, so again, size, speed, length. Another huge attribute is coverage intensity, right? It's okay to it's really cool to be really fast, but if the intent isn't to get into phase, into proper position with the receiver, then what's all that speed for, right? And so it's just that type of mentality and intensity, and that drive to compete, right, and be successful on every down. So again, those are guys with, super athletic and really good speed, right? They're both 4'3" guys. Again, they got height, they got length, they got size, and so they're really cool for the profile fit.
Kris, when you guys were a group like Tyson and Cisco, who played in a different style of secondary last year, how tough is it, or how challenging is it to get them to adapt sort of a new style of play?
I think throughout your whole entire life, at some point in time, everybody's been a part of a defense, right, or tried to play a particular style that's been really challenging, right? Again, get up there, get in people's face, challenge them at the line of scrimmage, again, get on the back, again, especially as a safety, right? Again, lock in, key the quarterback, again, get tuned in to keying the quarterback's intentions and seeing how they're trying to work us again, and then how we're essentially trying to work our disguises to fool the quarterback, and everything being relative from there. So I think it's been a really cool transition. I know, again, the guys we've got a lot of buy-in. Again, we got really good guys, they're really good athletes, and really looking forward to seeing where we take it.
What have your impressions been of Tyson so far, and what kind of year could this be for him after what was a bit of a difficult one last year?
Yeah, so it's we don't control every circumstance, right? But we do control our every thought. And so the soft tissue injuries, whatever took place last year, right? Again, all that stuff has to be wiped clean, right? So it's a clean slate. I think he's one of the finer athletes that I've been around throughout my coaching career here. It's kind of just the way he's able to run and transition. He's got a bit of a perpetual motion thing. Obviously, again, he's been a state champion here. As a 100-meter runner, 10-3, like that. That's incredibly valuable. And I don't know, it's just kind of weird, you know. So it's just like when you're able to watch an athlete again in motion and things of that nature, right? Again, he's got that proverbial ball type movement to where he's not a like a hesitant, stiff type guy. Again, he's just rolling. You know, he's just rolling. So the big thing is always going to be, and this for everyone a part of the secondary who's covering, right? Again, it's just going to be again eye discipline. The level of intensity, again, once we figure out the direction that the wide receiver's going, and staying true to that, right? Again, so not allowing our eyes to come up and drift and key the quarterback and all that type of stuff. So, again, that in particular has just been going, it's training for everyone. Again, not more in particular for him, but just being able to watch a guy, again, same, right? So you see the profile here, height, length, speed, size, all that type of stuff, man. It's getting him at the line of scrimmage, how many guys can actually run past him, that sort of stuff, you know. So just helping him, teaching him, utilize his skill set, keeping his eye discipline, again, staying true to his strength, and then watching him maximize it.
So physically, you think he's a good scheme fit for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think they're like everyone in the room right now, like has got a chance to bring value to our football team.
A little bit on background, sorry if I'm wrong, but were you connected to any positions here in the past, like Legion of Boom connections when Gus Bradley was here? Was there ever any potential crossover? Had you interviewed or anything?
With whom?
Jacksonville.
Has it been before in the past?
Just for you.
I don't know. This was first opportunity.
I don't know if it's misremembered your name.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Right on. How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
How's your relationship been with the room? The DBs are a pretty unique group, I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
Just so far, how do you feel like they've taken it? How that transition's been going?
Yeah. Humble, hardworking, you know, again, intense, fun, right? Fun, and that's kind of the idea, right? Is that we all understand like what's fun in football, okay? Because again, everybody wants to have fun, but like losing ain't fun, you know, and so. I think the awesome part about it is you know, like what we don't talk about is money, right? Like that's the known factor, right? Again, the thing to talk about is the unknown factor, and it's the how to, right? Or the thing that we need to consistently lock into, and it's the how to. And I think that's the really cool part about the room, is to where that's everyone in the room knows and understands, right? Again, what our end goal is, right? Again, it's to be the last team standing, right? And so now that's not important. The important part is how we're going to be that team, how we're going to be that unit that's going to end up being the last team standing. And I think that's where the collective decision of the guys in the room, right? Again, that focus and that singular mindset has been really cool to watch it grow.
You've been in this position before where you're coming into a new team. Is it difficult to kind of, obviously they went through something at the end of last season that wasn't great, and to get them on board and get them moving towards something a little bit different? Do you feel like they were really open to that right out of the gate, or is that something you kind of have to work towards with them?
I feel it's really open throughout the gate, right? And it's like just like any time that you're establishing a relationship, right? Again, they just recognize a genuine, true value, you know, of the person standing before them, and that's all that you can do. You know, again, you got to stand up there. There has to be a firm validity, right? Again, and what we believe and what we know, and then there has to be again, the validation has to come within the expertise of the teaching and the coaching. If they don't intermingle, if it's not intertwined, if there's no mesh there, then I think that's where a lot of the conflict kind of comes into play. You know, because again, you're going to demand excellence, but if we're not teaching excellence, then how can we ever demand it?
Group, how they're doing.
I'm excited about the group. First of all, just the approach they've taken this offseason, the amount of work they put in, and work they put in on their own. It's kind of a hard hat group. They're workers, and that's exciting. And it's a good mixture of young guys and new guys and some guys in between. So I'm excited about the trajectory of that group, and I'm really excited to see what we'll do when we get to put pads on and go for real in training camp.
How much versatility is in that group, especially in the scheme that you guys are going to play?
Yeah, that's the neat thing. You got a guy like Chad who's kind of in between Foye and Devin. You got a big linebacker in Devin. You got a guy in Foye that's a loose hip linebacker that can close and has a knack for slipping guys and running around. And and Caleb's done a good job too, you know. So I'm excited to see where those guys go.
Seems like there's a lot of eyes on Devin. Looks like a talent that at times is, you know, just had to get through some mud in the first couple of years in the NFL.
Sure.
How do you see him in year 3, or what you know about him so far?
The thing that's exciting about Devin is, I mean, he's a guy that wants to be good, so he's coachable. He's constantly trying to learn the game. I'm excited to see where his trajectory will go, because you're right, he's in year 3, so he anticipates some things he may not have anticipated as a younger player.
Does he have the ability to move around as well,
Yeah,
up like he did in college?
Right now, what we're doing with those guys, all of them are moving around, because that's kind of the process in OTAs. Yeah, you know, we're trying to expose them to a whole lot of different things, so when we get into September, we can put our best 11 out on the field in the best opportunities to win.
One last one for me, if you don't mind. When do you know you've got a handle on what your group is and what they can do, and you want to settle?
That's a great question. I don't know that happens until you get into September, to be honest with you. And you know, this league, so often it's about who's available. You know, so that's what training camp's for.
You talked about Devin gaining weight. I was just curious, what do you think that does for him in terms of his strength and things of that?
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily weight. I think it's been muscle mass and just, but it's definitely going to help him strike blockers. It's going to, you know, you talk about knockback tackles. When you get a guy that's explosive and can run like that, and he's carrying a lot of strength, obviously that packs a punch.
And then it seemed like over the first couple of years of his career, at least from a layman's terms or just from a casual observer, he could get lost sometimes. I'm curious, on your perspective, with this new scheme, how it could probably help him just do the things that he needs to do.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, it's just the continued repetition of where I fit within the scheme and then how I fit with the offense attacking me. I hate to go backwards because, you know, I wasn't here, and to be honest with you, it doesn't do any good. I can only speak about where we're at right now, and I'm pleased with where he's at in the process.
There were some breakdowns in communication on defense on this team last year. When you come in with a new staff and you're trying to kind of establish that trust, is this the time where you really lay the groundwork for that before it gets a little more physical?
Absolutely. I think this time's critical, and that's the one good thing about the way the NFL has the phases, right? Because there is some learning in the classroom, and then you get into individual, and then you get to go against the offense, and really all you're trying to do is build a foundation so when we get to training camp, we're ready to fire. And there's also, you know, from the simplest to the more complex schemes. But I'm pleased with where we're at, and also glad we have training camp.
How do you feel the defense has been in terms of being open and accepting kind of the new scheme and just taking that all in right now?
The guys have been awesome. I mean, they've been awesome from the point of not just embracing the scheme, but embracing the techniques that go along with it. And, you know, for a voluntary off-season program, you wouldn't know it was voluntary. They've been here and they've worked hard.
What are you most looking forward to in training camp? Obviously installing the new system, but just getting to know them better? Or?
Yeah, and I think, too, like, there's always an excitement of when you put pads on, you know, and just to see how guys carry themselves with pads on and who's a contact player and who's not. And so
he's been everything that we could ask for up to this point.
How have you seen him respond just from what was a bit of a down year last year with his injury and maybe a little less production than he had wanted?
To be honest, I really, you know, for us, everybody got a clean slate. And so I can only judge him off of kind of what I see day in and day out of him and what we see day in and day out. And so far what we've seen, all right, he's come with a winning attitude, and it's been winning approaches to everything we've asked him to do. And so just continue to push him in that direction to be consistent. And I think when you can own the process, then the results will come and they'll speak for themselves.
What's the dynamic like in that cornerback room? Ronald Darby's kind of like he's the OG in the room. He's the only one. The rest of them are kind of young guys trying to find their way, right?
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool, man, because he's a lead by example guy. You know, he'll take guys on his wing, kind of talk to them. Again, not a you know, big talker or not a loud guy in any way, but his actions and how he leads and how he operates, it's definitely a benefit to have a veteran. And you know, but if you watch him move, he moves just like some of these young guys run around. So it's no old guy jokes going on, man. That guy can still fly and can still move just as well as all the best of them.
Can Jarian play inside and outside?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a ton of versatility with the player. Ton of versatility.
First impressions been of the room as a whole? I mean, it can be difficult to come into a situation as the new guy and try to put in your new system. Do you feel like they've been receptive?
Absolutely. It's the right kind of people. And so it starts with, you know, if their hearts are prepared to receive and are willing to receive, then, you know, it's easy. And they're those kind of players that they want to learn, they're hungry, they're open-minded, you know, and good thing is, again, we share history with enough guys in the room as well that, you know, there's kind of some already built-in buy-in amongst enough guys in the room that, you know, it kind of like, you know, it catches on with everyone else as well.
This is the time of the year where you really have to build that trust so that when things hit the fan that you're good?
Absolutely. So just, you know, as a coach, is just being consistent, you know, being consistent every day, same message, you know, never changing, never wavering. The standard is the standard. And I think guys respect that. And if they can come in and understand what the expectations are, for them it makes their jobs easier because it's not, they know what every day, you know, is expected of them and kind of what the message is and what the mindset is, and we just continue to be consistent and hammer away at it.
What's your coaching style? Like, what's your vibe? How do you come across to the players?
You have to ask them. I mean, you know, I'm honest, I'm genuine, I'm myself. First and foremost, you know, I care. We're in the business of building men. You know, this is ministry. And so, you know, as much as it's about, obviously, football and winning football games, for me, it's also about relationships. It's about, you know, teaching and showing other you know, young men that, you know, in life, man, it's about being a contributor in a positive way, all right, to our communities, to our families, and we can use this platform with football to reach as many as possible and be that example. And then when you reach this level, somebody's looking at you, right? There's multiple young kids, older people looking at you as an example, and what do you do with that when you're charged with that responsibility? So that's really my approach with the guys, and, you know, whether they like it or not, I mean, I don't know. They smile, they laugh at my jokes, so I guess I'm doing a decent job.
Now the production sometimes that ebbs and flows. Sometimes there's things that are uncontrollable that happen. But I just, like I mentioned to him, like, if you want to have your production, but your production will be there if you keep your focus on just trying to get a little bit better. And like we were talking about Trayvon just a minute ago, as you get better, that's harder to do. It's harder to get better as you continue to get better. You know, you got to work twice as hard to get the same improvement that you might have gotten 4 or 5 years ago.
Without giving too much away, what's the biggest difference you think that fans will see in how you use Josh and Trayvon in this scheme compared to last?
You know, from a different standpoint, the main thing I think, like, they're still going to be involved in the coverage part of it, but it may not be to the same amount. There'll be still some opportunities where they've got to do some things coverage-wise. It just may be, like I said, that percentage as the same things are going to be there, just we're shifting percentages around. That'd be the main thing. You know, they may play, you know, they're going to be playing more as a D line, so they may, you know, their stances may change a little bit, but it won't be 100%. So you may see some shift there, but again, it's not going to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. It's just maybe moving from, you know, one area a little bit more towards a different area. That's all.
27 sacks combined last year, you know, in that area that led the league. How do you measure improvement from a group that was, you know, maybe as good as any in the league last year?
Yeah, so for those guys, it goes back to, like, when you're talking about the measurement of success, that was in the sack number, right? And so from a sack standpoint, you know, you'd like to see improvement always, right? And you might see that from other contributors or whatever else, from you looking at the totality of the position group. But from them, you know, in a pass rush standpoint, I like to focus on affecting the quarterback. because I feel like they have more control over how they affect the quarterback than they sometimes do to the actual outcome, which may be the sack. But at the end of the day, they're judged on sacks. I'll be judged partially on their ability to get sacks, and so we don't want to completely just push that aside. That's real, but at the end of the day, I'll focus a little bit more on their ability to affect the quarterback and try to help the defense.
Where did you see Trayvon improve the most last year?
I think the way that he, when I watch him play, he's faster. It's not the processing of different things happened a lot faster. I think he understands the angles. He does a great job of understanding the small things now. He's applying, pre-snap. He's doing a better job of understanding situations where the back is, seeing little indicators maybe from the offense where it gives him a little bit more of an edge pre-snap to help him. And then I think as he continues to be able to process things as he is right now during the play, I'm talking about during the play, and that came with experience, right? I think his athletic ability, will continue to take him to new heights. But again, it's going to be difficult, and he's got to continue to put in the work. But like I said to somebody earlier, he is one of the hardest working guys I've ever been around.
A knowledgeable, experienced D lineman who's Super Bowl experience, played the game for a long time, run in the past, and just that leadership ability. He's already been, vocal with the younger guys as well as the guys who've been here, and just what he sees and just how to play the game, how to be a pro. So first and foremost, I think he's a valuable asset to us.
What have you thought of the rookies so far?
The rookies are improving. They're catching on to the defensive scheme and the speed of the game in the NFL. Really pleased with their progress and how they're learning the techniques and fundamentals of what we're teaching as well.
I thought, obviously a year ago you weren't here, but you look at what Devon Hamilton did. I thought he was the best defensive player here last August, and he went down with that ailment. It looks as though he's back, and I understand you haven't seen him in pads, but your early impression on the return of Devon Hamilton?
Oh, so you better believe I watched all of 22 of him when I first got here, and just seeing it's funny because in 20, I was an assistant D-line coach in Cleveland, and evaluated him coming out.
Right.
So he was one of the guys that I liked and was really excited when I got here because I watched him some in 22. Then I heard about what happened in 23. But just, getting him back to that form, and I truly believe he will get there. Looked explosive in practice. You could see some of the drills that he's doing. I think he's getting back and he's getting comfortable with what we're asking him to do. So just really excited about him.
What is it like working with Ryan Nielsen, who also loves D-line?
Oh, Ryan Nielsen, that's my guy. So many people don't know, but he coached me.
Okay.
Yeah, so in 2005, I played D-line at Ole Miss, and he was my position coach. So you're talking about a relationship that spans from 2005 up until now, and it's really good. It's really unique to be coached by him and to also have a guy that's mentored me throughout my career in previous NFL stop and in college ball, and to now be able to be here and work with him with that knowledge, experience, and the trust factor of, hey, this was my coach, and now we're working together. I think that's awesome. And him being a D-line guy, I've always thought he's one of the best developers of defensive linemen in the country. So to have him here as an asset while I'm coaching that position, you can't put a value on that.
Coaching style as him, or do you feel like you're a little bit different?
I'm a different guy. I say we have some similarities and a little different, but I like to bring energy to the table with the guys, and the biggest thing I want to coach technique and fundamentals. So I'm always looking for ways and nitpicking of the ways that the guys can improve their play and play hard. That's what we want to see on tape.
Excited about the rookies. I know when we talked to Trent, and they were talking a little bit about some of the second, third round picks that to have, maybe they haven't lived up to what their full potential is, whether it's injuries or whatnot. Are you excited to kind of have that role that you get to play and help them develop?
Yeah, very excited about those guys. Two different type players. Jordan's more the nose and Mason is more the three. But to see their strengths and then their improvable areas, you know, I just think the future is bright for them. You know, Jordan being very strong at the point of contact, and Mason being a really good athlete, flexible, play to run, can rush as well. So really excited about what those guys bring to the table. And, you know, our job is to maximize their potential to get them over the hump and get them better and help them have, you know, really good careers.